A single shard of the Master Sword, a Korok stumbling through the depths, and a construct that shouldn't exist, awakening with power no one can explain. The latest Hyrule Warriors game just revealed something that's rewriting everything fans thought they knew about the Imprisoning War, and the answer to this construct's identity changes the entire timeline. The revealed trailer for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment dropped a bombshell that sent the Zelda community into a frenzy. As the Zonai door slowly opens in the darkness of the depths, a familiar melody echoes through the cavern, Fi's theme from Skyward Sword. For longtime fans, this musical cue immediately signals something significant about the Master Sword's spirit. But what it merges isn't Fi in her ethereal form. Instead, players witness a construct unlike any seen in Tears of the Kingdom, a warrior machine with flowing energy hair, wielding a Zonai sword, and bearing an unmistakable resemblance to Link himself. Nintendo and Koei Tecmo have been clear that Age of Imprisonment is canonical. This isn't some alternate timeline adventure or a what-if scenario. These are the actual events that transpired during the Imprisoning War, the conflict briefly glimpsed in Tears of the Kingdom's memories. Everything shown in the trailers aligns with established lore. Princess Zelda time-traveling to the ancient past, King Rauru and Queen Sonia founding the Kingdom of Hyrule, Sage Miniru conducting her research, and the inevitable confrontation with Ganondorf as he transforms into the Demon King. The game features familiar faces like the Korok character Kalamo and shows the depths beneath Hyrule teeming with monsters. Every detail fits perfectly into the known history of this era. Except for one glaring anomaly, this mysterious construct. The initial trailer concluded with an enigmatic sequence. A Zonai door, similar to those found in the Room of Awakening on the Great Sky Island in Tears of the Kingdom, begins to open. As blue energy swirls within the darkness, Fi's theme plays unmistakably in the background. The familiar melody from Skyward Sword, the song associated with the Master Sword spirit, fills the air as fragments of something begin assembling. The camera reveals a construct, but not one of the standard soldier or captain varieties familiar from Tears of the Kingdom. This construct possesses a unique, almost regal design. Subsequent trailers provided more details about this enigmatic character. Footage shows the construct in a remarkable aerial form, wings spread wide, propelled by blue Zonai energy, soaring through desolate landscapes. The machine weaves through the air with incredible agility, dodging devastating attacks from a Frostgliok. Then comes the transformation. Mid-flight, the construct shifts from its plane-like configuration into a humanoid warrior form, plummeting toward the depths below in a sequence that deliberately mirrors Link's iconic skydiving moment from Tears of the Kingdom's opening. The official key artwork for Age of Imprisonment positions this construct directly behind Princess Zelda, suggesting major story significance. The design elements are striking: a hood crafted from Zonai cloth, long strands of energy flowing like untamed hair on either side of its head, and a Zonai sword gripped firmly in its right hand. Every visual cue screams one thing. This is meant to represent Link, the hero of Hyrule. The parallels are impossible to ignore. Like the Link from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the hero of the wild, this construct sports a distinctive hood, wild flowing hair reminiscent of Link's untied locks, and wields his weapon in his right hand, matching Link's dominant hand in the Wild era games. The skydiving scene isn't subtle homage. It's a direct reference to one of Tears of the Kingdom's most iconic moments. The construct even wears a tunic similar to the archaic tunic that Link dons at the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom. But here's where the canon becomes complicated. Link cannot have participated in the Imprisoning War. The entire plot of Tears of the Kingdom follows Link's journey in the present day, from the discovery of Ganondorf's mummified form beneath Hyrule Castle, through the catastrophic awakening of the Demon King, to Link's quest to restore his strength and ultimately defeat Ganondorf. At no point does Link travel back through time to join this ancient conflict. More importantly, King Rauru doesn't know Link. In Tears of the Kingdom, Rauru only learns about the hero through Zelda's stories during her time in the past. When Rauru's spirit finally encounters Link in person, it's on the Great Sky Island in the present day, after Rauru has been dead for millennia. If Link, or even Link's spirit, had fought alongside Rauru during the Imprisoning War, these interactions would make no sense. The same logical problem extends to the other characters who participated in that ancient battle. Miniru, Sonia, the ancient sages, all of them fought during the Imprisoning War, and none of them reference having met Link or his spirit in any capacity when they discuss the hero in Tears of the Kingdom. So if this construct isn't housing the Wild Era Link's spirit, what exactly is it? The game now provides concrete answers. As players progress through Age of Imprisonment, a crucial revelation occurs in Chapter 4. The mysterious construct's core contains a shard of the Master Sword. This isn't speculation or theory. The game explicitly confirms that embedded within this construct's chest is a fragment of the legendary blade, and this shard is what powers the machine and grants it purpose, just as the blade itself has done throughout Hyrule's history. This awakening explains Fi's theme playing during the construct's reveal. Fi, the spirit of the Master Sword created by the goddess Hylia, resides within the blade. While Fi herself isn't physically present in the past, the complete Master Sword remains with Link in the present day until it's sent back after the Imprisoning War concludes. The shard retains some of her essence and power.
The musical cue serves as an auditory signal that this construct is powered by the Master Sword's sacred energy, even if Fi's consciousness isn't guiding it directly. The shard doesn't contain Fi's full awareness or personality, but it does carry the sword's fundamental purpose and some measure of its power. This fragment recognizes evil and compels the construct to combat it. In a sense, the construct becomes a proxy for the Master Sword, an ancient weapon system given temporary life and direction by a piece of the sacred blade. Once awakened, the construct is renamed the Knight Construct, reflecting its new role as a warrior against evil. The game shows Princess Zelda discussing the construct's core with King Rauru, confirming that the shard came from her time period. She explains that the fragment is from the Master Sword, the weapon wielded by Link, the greatest hero in Hyrule's future. Rauru marvels at the power contained within even a fragment of the legendary blade, recognizing that the wielder of such a weapon must be an incredible ally to Hyrule. The Knight Construct's design makes more sense when viewed through this lens. The construct doesn't house Link's spirit or represent any specific incarnation of the hero. Instead, it's a machine animated by the Master Sword's power and purpose. The construct takes on a form reminiscent of Link, the hood, the wild hair, the combat stance, not because it contains his soul, but because the Master Sword's essence shapes it toward the image of the hero it was meant to serve. The sword knows its purpose is to aid the hero of Hyrule, and even in fragmented form, it manifests something that echoes that destined partnership. This explains why the construct appears so Link-like without actually being Link. It's a reflection of the hero rather than the hero himself, a shadow cast by the Master Sword's future purpose. The Sacred Blade's fragment carries imprinted memories or perhaps destiny itself, creating a construct warrior that fights as a hero would, even though it's not truly alive in the way Link is. Throughout Age of Imprisonment's story, the Knight Construct becomes a pivotal figure in the war against Ganondorf. While King Rauru and the Six Sages work to lure the Demon King into the depths for the final sealing, the Knight Construct remains on the surface to repel Ganondorf's forces. The construct battles against powerful commanders in the Demon King's army, including an archfiend named Grimgibdo. The construct proves victorious in this battle, but Grimgibdo manages one final desperate attack, striking the construct's core directly. The blow significantly damages the Master Sword shard, severely weakening the Knight Construct. The machine collapses, and for a time, it appears the construct's battle is over. But the threat isn't finished. Another construct from the same dangerous class, referred to as the Forbidden Construct, becomes a dire threat to Hyrule. This rogue machine was activated by a phantom doppelganger of Zelda sent by Ganondorf, and it begins rampaging across the land, destroying everything in its path. The Forbidden Construct represents everything that went wrong with this class of warrior machines originally, uncontrolled power with devastating consequences. Despite its injuries, the Knight Construct reawakens to confront this threat. The two machines clash in an epic battle that spans across Hyrule, eventually reaching Mount Daphnes in the Heber region. With assistance from Calamo, the Knight Construct manages to project a spectral image of the full Master Sword, manifesting the blade's complete form despite only containing a fragment, and uses this projection to destroy the Forbidden Construct, saving the people of Hyrule from annihilation. However, this final battle takes its toll. The Knight construct sustains fatal damage during the confrontation, and the Master Sword shard at its core shatters completely. Without the fragment to power and sustain it, the construct falls apart, its pieces scattering across the ground. The heroic machine that saved Hyrule from two catastrophic threats ceases to function. The story's ending carries profound bittersweetness. Heartbroken by the loss of his companion, Kalamo decides to make the battlefield his permanent home. The Korok carefully gathers the remains of the Knight construct and places them at what becomes his base, creating a memorial to the warrior who fought so bravely. As centuries pass, Kalamo transforms into a tree, as Koroks do when they put down roots, standing eternal watch over the Knight construct's resting place. This narrative thread connects powerfully to locations and tiers of the kingdom. Players who explore the Heber region in that game may notice certain areas that now carry new significance. The remains of the Knight construct lie somewhere in that region, undiscovered by Link and Zelda in their time. The broken pieces of this ancient warrior, along with the shattered fragments of the Master Sword shard, remain buried in history, a sacrifice known only to Kalamo and the few who witnessed those final moments. The tragic irony is profound. The Knight construct saved Hyrule from the Forbidden Construct's rampage, ensuring that the kingdom survived beyond the imprisoning war. This sacrifice allowed civilization to continue, eventually leading to the world that Link and Zelda know thousands of years later. Yet Link never learns of this ancient warrior that bore his likeness. The Knight construct fought with the strength of the Master Sword's power, echoing the courage and determination of the hero of Hyrule, but its deeds faded into forgotten legend. There's something poetic about a fragment of the Master Sword creating a hero when the actual hero couldn't be present. The blade itself seems to possess an almost sentient understanding of destiny and necessity. When transported back to an era before its destined wielder, the sword's essence found another way to fulfill its purpose by animating a warrior construct to battle evil in the hero's stead. This also adds layers to the Master Sword's journey in Tears of the Kingdom. After the Knight construct sacrifice shatters the shard, the energy presumably dissipates or becomes dormant. Later, when Zelda receives the damaged Master Sword in the past and undergoes draconification to heal it, she restores the blade over thousands of years. The sword that eventually returns to Link in Tears of the Kingdom is complete once more, having been made whole through Zelda's sacrifice. But somewhere in its essence, buried in its spiritual memory, might be the echo of that fragment, the piece that once powered a construct warrior who gave everything to protect Hyrule. The Knight construct story also connects thematically to other elements in Tears of the Kingdom. Players who complete all the shrines and solve the mysteries scattered across the game unlock the Ancient Heroes aspect, an item that transforms Link into the appearance of a mysterious ancient hero who fought Calamity Ganon 10,000 years ago before Breath of the Wild. This ancient hero possessed a distinctly non-Hylian appearance, suggesting that heroes come in many forms across Hyrule's long history. The Knight construct represents another variation on this theme, a hero that isn't even truly alive, but still embodies the courage and selflessness that defines the legendary heroes. Whether the protagonist is a Hylian warrior, a mysterious ancient champion of unknown race, or a construct powered by a sacred sword fragment, the spirit of heroism transcends individual identity.
From a gameplay perspective, the Knight construct serves as Age of Imprisonment's solution to the Link problem. Every Hyrule Warriors game has featured Link as a playable character. He's the franchise's central protagonist, after all. But canonically, Link couldn't participate in the imprisoning war. The developers needed to maintain the game's status as official canon while still delivering the Link gameplay that fans expect. The Knight construct provides an elegant solution. Players get to control a character with Link's combat style and abilities, complete with sword techniques and aerial maneuvers that feel true to the hero's fighting spirit. The construct's transformation ability, shifting between humanoid warrior and aerial vehicle forms, adds unique gameplay mechanics that differentiate it from traditional Link gameplay while incorporating Zonai technology in creative ways. The flying sequences appear particularly innovative.
Footage shows the construct soaring through the skies in its plane configuration, using Zonai devices as weapons, dodging attacks from massive enemies like Gleoks, and performing aerial combat maneuvers. This adds variety to the typical warrior-style ground combat, potentially offering entire missions or battle segments focused on flight. When discussing the Knight construct, players should also consider its place within the broader class of forbidden constructs. The game establishes that these self-aware warrior machines were incredibly powerful, so powerful that they overthrew and nearly exterminated their Zonai creators. This rebellion represents a dark chapter in Zonai history, one that Rauru and Minoru likely prefer not to discuss in detail. The fact that the Knight construct belongs to this class raises questions about its original purpose. Were these constructs designed as ultimate weapons? Were they created to fight some ancient threat that required such devastating power? Or were they simply tools of war that gained unwanted sentience? The game hints at these questions, but doesn't provide complete answers, leaving room for speculation about the ancient Zonai civilization's final days. What's clear is that the Zonai sealed these dangerous constructs away specifically because they recognized the threat they posed. Minoru, as a sage focused on construct research, would have understood these machines better than anyone. Her decision to keep them locked in the depths suggests she knew they could never be safely reactivated under normal circumstances. It took the Master Sword's divine power, an internal force to Zonai technology, to override the construct's base programming and redirect it toward a noble purpose. This dynamic creates an interesting parallel to Minoru's own construct in Tears of the Kingdom. Minoru prepares a construct body for her spirit specifically so she can aid Link in the present day. Her construct is designed from the start to house a soul and act as a vessel for her consciousness. The Knight construct, by contrast, wasn't designed to house anyone's spirit. It's a war machine that gains purpose through the Master Sword Shard's power. Yet both constructs ultimately serve the same goal, protecting Hyrule and aiding those who fight against Ganondorf's evil. The connection to Fi deserves additional examination. Fi, as introduced in Skyward Sword, is the spirit of the goddess sword that eventually becomes the Master Sword. Created by the goddess Hylia specifically to guide her chosen hero, Fi possesses vast knowledge and analytical capabilities. At the conclusion of Skyward Sword, Fi enters a deep sleep within the Master Sword, her mission complete. Throughout subsequent Zelda games, Fi's presence within the sword remains, though she stays dormant. In Breath of the Wild, when Zelda speaks to the Master Sword before it's placed in Korok Forest, players hear Fi's distinctive chime, confirming that the spirit still resides within the blade, even in this distant future era. The sword hasn't forgotten its origins or its purpose. When the Master Sword shatters in Tears of the Kingdom, does Fi fragment along with it? This question remains tantalizingly unanswered. The Knight construct's core contains a physical shard of the blade, and that shard carries enough of the sword's power to awaken and drive the construct. Fi's theme plays during this awakening, suggesting her essence, or at least an echo of it, exists within the fragment. However, the game makes clear that Fi doesn't manifest as a conscious entity within the construct. Players don't hear Fi's voice, don't receive her analysis or guidance, and don't interact with her personality. The shard contains her power and purpose, but not her full awareness. It's comparable to how a spark contains fire but isn't a flame itself. The essential nature is there, but not the complete form. This selective inheritance makes sense from a lore perspective. Fi's spirit presumably remains in the largest intact portion of the Master Sword. When Zelda receives the damaged blade and begins the healing process through dronification, she's restoring Fi's true home. The shards that scattered earlier, like the one that awakens the Knight construct, carry residual power but not Fi's consciousness. Yet that residual power proves significant enough to override a forbidden construct's base programming and redirect it toward a noble purpose. Even a fragment of the Master Sword contains divine strength and an almost magnetic pull toward combating evil. The goddess Hylia's craftsmanship apparently extends to every piece of the blade, not just its complete form. Looking at the broader implications, the Knight Construct's existence adds fascinating complexity to the timeline. It confirms that fragments of the future, specifically pieces of the Master Sword, scattered into the distant past when Zelda was sent back through time. This creates a temporal loop of sorts. The sword that Link wields in Tears of the Kingdom is restored by Zelda over thousands of years in the past, but fragments of that same damaged sword also influenced events during the Imprisoning War. Did these fragments change history? Would the Imprisoning War have ended differently without the Knight Construct? These questions touch on predestination paradoxes and the nature of time travel in Zelda lore. The game suggests that everything that happened in the past was always meant to happen, that the timeline is consistent, and the Knight Construct was always part of the Imprisoning War's history, even if the present-day characters don't remember or know about it. This aligns with how Tears of the Kingdom handles time travel overall. Zelda doesn't change the past, she fulfills it. Her presence in ancient Hyrule is what allows certain events to unfold, including the founding of the kingdom and the eventual sealing of Ganondorf. Similarly, the Master Sword's shard's presence in the past isn't an alteration, but a necessity, another element that was always part of history's tapestry. The Knight Construct's design also reflects careful thought about the aesthetics of the Zonai civilization. The construct wears Zonai cloth as a hood and tunic, mimicking the garments worn by other denizens of this era. Its energy hair, strands of pure Zonai power flowing from its head, visualizes the machine's animating force in a way that's both alien and heroic.
The construct clearly isn't human, yet it moves and fights with recognizable purpose and determination. This design philosophy extends to the construct's weapons and abilities. The Zonai sword it wields resembles weapons found in Tears of the Kingdom, but with the refined craftsmanship of the ancient civilization at its peak. The construct's ability to deploy Zonai devices in combat, using flame emitters, hydrants, time bombs, and other technology as tactical weapons, demonstrates mastery over the very tools that Link uses in Tears of the Kingdom. In a way, the construct fights exactly as Link would if Link had been raised in Zonai culture and trained with their technology from the start. The transformation mechanic, shifting between humanoid and aerial forms, also cleverly utilizes Zonai aesthetics. The flying configuration doesn't look like a modern aircraft, it resembles ancient Zonai architecture given motion. The blue energy jets, the white wing-like structures, the way the construct's body reorganizes itself, all of it feels consistent with the blend of magic and technology that defines Zonai design. Age of Imprisonment's developers clearly wanted the Knight Construct to feel like it belongs in this era while still serving as a Link equivalent character. They succeeded by making it obviously artificial, no one would mistake this for an actual person, while imbuing it with heroic characteristics that resonate with the hero's legacy. The result is a character that feels both fresh and familiar, appropriate for both the ancient setting and the warrior's gameplay style. For players engaged with Zelda's deeper lore, the Knight Construct raises questions about how the Master Sword perceives its purpose across time. Does the blade have some degree of awareness beyond Fi's consciousness? Can it sense when evil threatens Hyrule, even when separated from its destined wielder? The fact that a fragment flies toward the construct and embeds itself, activating the machine without any conscious direction, suggests the sword operates on principles beyond simple cause and effect. Perhaps the Master Sword exists partially outside normal time, its divine nature allowing it to function according to destiny rather than strictly temporal cause and effect. This would explain how a fragment can influence the past even though it comes from the future, and why that fragment intuitively knows to seek out evil and empower something to fight against it. The relationship between Kalamo and the Knight Construct adds emotional weight to what could otherwise be a purely mechanical plot element. Kalamo isn't just a comedic Korok's sidekick, the character forms a genuine bond with the construct. When the Knight Construct falls in battle, Kalamo's grief is real and lasting. The decision to remain at the battlefield site, tending to the construct's remains for all eternity, speaks to deep loyalty and affection. This friendship between a childlike forest spirit and an ancient war machine creates poignant contrast. Kalamo represents life, growth, and nature's persistent optimism. The Knight Construct represents artifice, warfare, and sacrifice. Yet they find common ground in their shared commitment to protecting Hyrule. It's a reminder that heroism isn't limited to legendary warriors with destiny on their side. Sometimes courage comes from unexpected sources, whether that's a wandering Korok or a repurposed war machine. The tragedy of the Knight Construct's final fate resonates because it mirrors themes present throughout the Zelda franchise. How many heroes have sacrificed everything to save Hyrule, only to be forgotten by history? How many acts of courage went unrecorded, their stories lost to time? The Knight construct joins this tragic legacy, a warrior who saved the kingdom but whose deeds slipped into legend's shadows, unknown even to the heroes who follow millennia later. This also creates a touching through line for players who've experienced both games. Those who played Tears of the Kingdom and are now playing Age of Imprisonment get to witness a sacrifice that their characters never learned about. Link and Zelda in the present benefit from the Knight construct's heroism without ever knowing it occurred. The player becomes the keeper of the secret history, the only one who knows the complete story spanning both eras. As the November 6, 2025 release date approached, anticipation for Age of Imprisonment centered heavily on the Knight construct's role. Now that the game has released, players can experience the full story of this mysterious warrior firsthand. Early reactions suggest that the construct's narrative arc is one of the game's strongest elements, providing emotional depth to what could have been a simple warrior-style action game. The revelation that the construct is powered by a Master Sword fragment rather than housing Link's or Fi's spirit represents thoughtful lore crafting. It allows the character to feel connected to franchise mythology while maintaining canonical consistency with Tears of the Kingdom. Nothing about the Knight construct contradicts established events. Instead, it fills in gaps and adds depth to the Imprisoning War's history. For longtime fans who followed the Wild-era Zelda games from Breath of the Wild through Tears of the Kingdom and now Age of Imprisonment, the Knight construct represents fascinating character design that honors the franchise's past while pushing into new territory. It's not simply Link in construct form, it's something more interesting. An echo of heroism given temporary physical form through divine power and ancient technology. The Knight construct proves that the spirit of the hero transcends any single incarnation, whether that heroic essence appears as a Hylian warrior destined by the gods, a mysterious ancient hero from ages past, or even a war machine animated by a sacred sword fragment. The fundamental nature remains unchanged. Courage in the face of evil, sacrifice for the greater good, and unwavering determination to protect the innocent. As players guide the Knight construct through battles against Ganondorf's forces, dodging Gleeok attacks in the skies above Hyrule, and confronting the Forbidden construct in the climactic showdown, they're not just playing as a substitute Link character. They're experiencing a unique moment in Zelda history, a time when the Master Sword's power manifested in unexpected form, when a machine became a hero, and when destiny found a way to fulfill itself even in the hero's absence. The Knight construct's legacy lives on in the game's final scenes, where Kalamos stands watch over the battlefield. That image, a Korok transformed into an ancient tree, keeping vigil over the scattered remains of a fallen warrior, encapsulates both the tragedy and triumph of the Imprisoning War. Evil was sealed away, Hyrule survived to see another era, and heroes emerged from the most unlikely sources to make that survival possible. That's the true identity of the mysterious construct in Hyrule Warriors' Age of Imprisonment. Not Link, not Fi, but perhaps even more powerful, proof that heroism itself is an unbreakable force that finds expression whenever and wherever it's needed most, regardless of the form it takes. The Knight construct may have been built as a weapon of war, may have been awakened by circumstance rather than choice, and may have fallen in battle without recognition or remembrance. But in the moment when Hyrule needed a hero, and the destined champion couldn't be there, the Master Sword's power ensured that courage still took the field. And that is a legend worthy of remembrance, even if history itself forgot.